So in 3 games, we have failed to pick up maximum 3 points from a winning position. What has been happening to Manchester United? In a game against Brentford, we were up by a goal, and before we could say jack, Brentford had equalized. In a game against Chelsea, which is for me the most painful one, we were 3 goals to 2 up. Before we could say jack, the game had turned on its head in 80 seconds for Chelsea to win the game by 4 goals to 3. Now, in the Liverpool game as well, we also faced the same challenge. In the 80th minute, where we were leading by 2 goals to 1, Liverpool came in and then drew the game 2-2. So out of 9 points, we've managed just 2 points. We'll delve into that. Tyrell Malacia. We've all been wondering, where exactly has this gentleman been? We've got a breakdown, courtesy The Athletic. They brought us a very, very interesting and a very detailed piece on what has been happening to Tyrell Malacia and what has been the key situation with regards to his problem at Manchester United. We'll break that one down for you as well. I'm here with Kwame and Tribu as usual. You've been seeing us on United Today, alternating and taking, giving you all the latest updates. If you've not been watching United Today, you are missing out. We give you all the updates, a breakdown, explainer of everything that happens around the club. Kwame, good to have you back.
It's great to be back. It's great to be back on United and Everything Football Podcast.
Good to have you back. Good to have you back. So let's make a quick turnaround. When we come back, we delve into the issues here on United and Everything Football. All right, thank you very much. This is United and Everything Football. The football we have been playing this season has got a lot of people wondering. If you follow this podcast, you always know that we come back here to discuss the same thing. In fact, Kwame is from one school of thought. I'm also from another school of thought. And truly, we've all sound like a broken record now because we've always had to explain ourselves over and over again. I'm always on my perspective. If the players' personnel are not good, why don't you switch and find a way that accommodates the qualities of the personnel? Kwame is like he's doing plug and play. We've been going back and forth. But we want to tackle the subject one more time. Is it a personnel issue? Is it a system issue? Kwame, let's delve into it. The conversation won't end. Now, for me, I am at the acceptance stage where I believe that
you've gone through your stages of grief.
Yes, I have accepted it. Because if you are waiting for any changes to come, I'm sorry, you will not get any changes with regards to the kind of football we want to play. But Kwame, this week we saw a very interesting video of Erik ten Hag of old. A very old video when he was at Ajax, where he talked about it was Ruud Gullit trying to yes, Ruud Gullit trying to criticize the fact that there is always a space or a gap in between the midfield anytime the team attacks, and makes it very difficult, or it makes it very easy for other teams to cut through easily, giving them the spaces to run through and all of that. And Ten Hag had a response. Okay, Ten Hag had a very interesting response. You know what? Let's look at this video briefly. When we come back, we will discuss exactly what you think with regards to that. I will share a very interesting picture of how United lined up against Liverpool and how Ajax also lined up with regards to that. All right.
Ik had het net even over Frenkie, omdat we nu ook beelden voorzien. We kunnen straks misschien ook nog over Tadic praten. Herken jij dat? Dat ook in Frenkie heel veel van jullie spel zit, waardoor je iets herkent en een handtekening eronder zet?
Frenkie is onvoorstelbaar belangrijk natuurlijk, ontegenzeggelijk. Zeker in die eerste fase van de opbouw. Ja. En zeker ook qua intercepties en duels winnen is ontzettend belangrijk voor ons.
Ruud, jij hebt hoog gevoetbald en andere mannen ook.
Ruud heeft hoog gevoetbald,
ja. Je bent uiteindelijk naar een club gegaan ook, begreep ik. Ja. Maar herken je dit soort situaties voor een team waarin je het ene moment dat je denkt, nou ja, wie kan ons nog verslaan? Het andere moment denk je, we zijn door iedereen te pakken.
Maar waar het om gaat is dat als het niet loopt, dan moet je toch nog iets kunnen doen om zo'n wedstrijd eruit te kunnen
Maar wat zou je moeten doen? Wat zou Ajax moeten doen?
Het vervelende aan Ajax is, en ik denk dat Wim dat net al zei, als het niet loopt, wat ga je dan doen? En dan zijn ze kwetsbaar.
All right, thank you very much. That's a very interesting video there. Kwame, what's your thought?
For months now, you've sounded like Ruud Gullit. For months now, I've sounded like Erik ten Hag in trying to explain the situation. But then, I reached acceptance stage just a couple of months before you have actually got to the very same stage. I just said nothing is going to change. It's chaos. And there's a reason why it's chaos. We have to evolve in terms of our playing style. From the videos and illustrations you just saw right now, we are not set up any differently from the way that his Ajax side, that was admired by a lot of people, was set up. In terms of how they played, in terms of in possession and out of possession, they were the toast of Europe under Ten Hag. So you ask yourself, how come we are not able to replicate the same thing now? And my singular reason for it, for months now, has been the fact that we do not have the exact same personnel in terms of the qualities of the players to complement the system and style that we want to play. But then it goes back to your previous argument before your acceptance stage. Why then don't you adopt a style of play to suit these players so that we can get the best out of them? You have to ask yourself and say to yourself, playing to a system that suits these players, what has it gotten us over these few years? Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we went to numerous semi-finals. We came close, but we never won anything. In the first season under Ten Hag, at a point in time, you could see us come very close to the top two teams, that is Arsenal and City, but we quickly fell off. All I'm trying to say is, whatever system of play that we've tried to use in the past to suit the players that we've had has not necessarily worked. We want to evolve and play the style of football which is close to what Ajax wanted to play, but considering the qualities of certain players in our teams and including their abilities in that decision. What I'm trying to say is marrying transition football with the style of play that Ajax used to play, based off the kind of personnel that we have, especially in forward areas. I'm sure you know the players I'm talking about, the likes of Rashford and then Garnacho and the likes. But then the main issue has been, as I've pointed out to you in the past few weeks, at the back. Our back is aged, and not just aged right now, but then injury prone as well. And then you look at the qualities of the players at the back, they cannot play the type of system that we want to play. But you ask yourself, at which point are we going to move on, evolve, and start learning the style of play? Erik ten Hag is almost into the second year, at the end of the second year of his 3-year contract at Manchester United. He would have envisaged that bar injuries and by certain things, we should have progressed in terms of the style of play that he wants to implement by now. Unfortunately, we've been ravaged by injuries, yet you would have to consider the fact that we still have to make that step forward. And in making that step forward, it means we're going to take risks. In taking risks, it means that we're going to see the kind of chaotic football that we've been seeing over the past few months. Yet, it's Manchester United, so results are at the premium. We are supposed to get the results too at the end of the day. You marry all that and it's culminated in exactly what you're seeing right now. I know you are with me here.
I get you.
So that's the issue. We have a back line that's supposed to play rest defense, as he said in the video.
Yeah.
We saw a very interesting illustration of the good of rest defense and the very bad with the personnel that we generally have, especially at the back. Willy Kambuala, he was in a one-on-one situation with Darwin Núñez, who happens to be one of the quickest forwards in the Premier League. He made a mistake at the back in the first half, tried a back pass to the goalkeeper, mistimed it, and gave the ball away to Darwin Núñez. And Darwin Núñez was running straight at goal. But what did you see? Willy Kambuala, as young and quick as he is, had the legs to recover. In the principles of rest defense, it involves one-on-one defending. Push high up the pitch, but with having defenders who can play very good one-on-one defending. Take Willy Kambuala out of the equation and try and fit in our senior centre-backs. Is Harry Maguire recovering in that situation that Kambuala found himself in?
Definitely not.
Victor Lindelof?
Definitely not.
Johnny Evans.
Definitely not.
Rafa Varane at 30-31.
Yeah. Definitely
Maybe.
not. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm even giving him the benefit
Yes,
of maybe.
perhaps. Yeah.
But it's highly unlikely. It defeats the whole purpose in terms of the qualities of these players to be able to play that kind of football that we want. Yeah. What does it tell you? It tells you that these players should not be playing for this football club anymore. They've been at this club for a very, very long time. Johnny Evans has been in and out of the football club at 35 years old. He shouldn't even be playing for Manchester United.
Yeah.
There is only one centre-back out of the lot, and I left his name out, who has the physical capabilities to play 1v1 and probably recover. Yeah. And he has not been available throughout the entirety of this season. Yeah. I'm talking about Lisandro Martinez. And this is someone that the manager purchased and brought into the club to be the starting centre-back at the left side of defense. Yeah. When you look throughout this whole squad building process of this coach, we've signed a lot of midfielders, we've signed a few forwards, we've signed just a couple of defenders. Of the players that remain from previous squads and under previous managers, the area that you have a magnitude of the players still being there happens to be in defense. And it's in these defenders who are now either aged, old, injury prone, and not fit for the system that we want to play. Danny Cranting said something on the pod a few weeks ago when he was on, that he feels that Manchester United is probably not so many transfer windows away from actually fixing our problems. We just need one very good transfer window to fix certain key problems in the team, and that would quickly transform us. And I'm of the same opinion right now. I'm saying this with a lot of confidence based on the structure of the squad, based on its construction, and based on what this manager is trying to implement in terms of our style of play. That come this summer, it may actually turn out to be the very last stage of this rebuilding process if we address these very key problems in our squad, especially our backline. So that's exactly what's happening. And we have to give up something. It looks like we have to give up results.
Yeah.
Because that's what's actually happening. It's not based off my assumption anymore. It's live. We are dropping points helter-skelter, playing basketball all the time. And like I said to you previously, we will keep playing this kind of football. But then what will happen is, if we face teams who are not of the same quality as we are most likely to win games than not. Yeah. But over the past week, when we face teams who have equal or better quality, we have dropped points in the most unimaginable of fashions. Yeah. So nothing is happening right now is out of surprise. And literally what is expected to happen. And even that,
the games that we've lost or we've dropped points against the equally better teams, it's been much more circumstantial, where it's been a player not doing their job right. So you take the Chelsea game, for instance, Diogo Dalot had no business slipping there and even allowing Noni Madueke to go ahead of him to be able to, get that. Aaron Wan-Bissaka had no business going down, but dubious as the penalty is, it's clearly, and Erik ten Hag said something very interesting in the last press conference after that game, where he talked about the teams lacking routines and also keeping their head straight up into the game so that they don't lose concentration in those very, very, difficult situations that they find themselves and all of that. But I get it. I perfectly understand exactly where we stand now. But the situation is with the new ownership and whether they are ready. As we know, that decision is not going to be done by Sir David Brailsford and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. They have appointed people to make the decision with regards to the decision, the future of the coach and whether he deserves to stay or not, because they are paying them top dollar to make sound football decisions for them. They are not there to make those decisions themselves. If they could make it, they wouldn't have employed people to make these decisions for them. They would delegate all these decisions because so that when things doesn't go right, they know who exactly they are going to hold accountable. So it's going to be the CEO, the sporting director, or the technical director. if you followed our,
I mean, we crave for this. We've craved for this for quite some years now.
Absolutely.
We always blame the Glazers for everything, for almost every single decision that was taken at the football club.
Yes.
I mean, with new owners who have claimed that they want to fix the sporting direction of our club.
Yeah.
By taking these decisions where they employ people, specific people who have the expertise in those particular areas to make those decisions, it's the right way to go. So
Absolutely.
for people who have been writing, you see these people who have been writing, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is good, and Ineos don't want this and don't want this manager.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, until we see a CEO come through the door and start work, of which we've heard our CEO is due to start work in July.
Yeah.
Until we see a sporting director come through the door, of which we do not even know when
exactly
we can finish
he
negotiations
starts.
with Dan Ashworth.
Yeah.
It is very, very difficult for anybody to make sense out of saying it's the owner and his partners who are going to make a decision on the manager. We saw yesterday the video United released with Eric Ten Hag talking about his preseason plans. It's so obvious that at this stage we are planning with the manager.
Yeah.
All the way through the summer in terms of preseason, in terms of recruitment, and in terms of everything.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, we are going to see a situation where it's very similar to worst case scenario, I mean for Eric Ten Hag. A situation which is quite similar to Todd Boehly and Thomas Tuchel's situation at Chelsea, where they were not able to employ people quickly enough in terms of the sporting direction of the club. The owner himself had to be the sporting director at a point because he wasn't getting his men through the door early enough. But by the time that he had his people in place, that the club had decided that this is the style of football that they want to play, and that a certain coach, not necessarily a manager. It was a few games into the season. Thomas Tuchel had coached Chelsea a few games into the season. Yet things in the boardroom were not aligned in terms of his vision, his ambition, his thoughts, even with purchases, compared to the people who Todd Boehly had employed to oversee such a structure. So at the end of the day, they had to let Thomas Tuchel go. That's the worst case scenario for Eric Ten Hag right now, where he does get involved in preseason. He is still involved in recruitment because we would not have our CEO till July. We'll probably not have our sporting director till the end of the year. So we'll have to go with him till probably midway through the season. And the situation may be reviewed based off not just results, but based off the vision of the CEO as well as the sporting director, as and when he is formally employed. So that's the situation that we find ourselves.
Exactly. And a lot of analysis that has been happening is that, or a lot of news that has been coming out from journalists very affiliated to the club has been that United is doing everything possible to get in Jason Wilcox, who's a technical director. Just so you know, Wilcox is playing a role of a sporting director at Southampton. So it tells you that he has a bit more knowledge on the operations with regards to how a sporting director should operate. So I believe he will be some sort of a pseudo sporting director, cover that area till we are able to get the Ashworth into the picture. And Omar Barada, who has been involved in negotiation of players, and we all know the famous work that he's done at Man City, getting in the likes of Erling Haaland, with working with Farian Soriano and Chiki Begistan, definitely has some high-level experience as to how things are going to be done. And the news we're also picking up is that the signings we'll be making is going to be more of a club signing than a coach signing. So we are signing players for the club. When we say club signing, we mean players that fit the philosophy of how the club wants to operate. So that when a coach comes and the coach leaves, the coach will be able to continue with players, not coach signings, such that
we would also be signing coaches who would play the philosophy that the club wants to play.
Exactly.
So the coach doesn't need an overhaul of the squad to be able to.
So the continuity is there. So if we are signing fast and pacey wingers because we want to play transition football, that is what we are going to sign. We are going to, because there is a whole scouting department and an analytics department that are able to identify. Now, if you listen to analysis that has been made, they said that United have not had a problem with identifying players. United have always had the problem with having making the right decisions to go for these players that has been identified. So we hope that all of these things are fixed. We identify the right
problem
players.
has always been we've signed managers who have totally different philosophies, totally different style of play. So each and every single one has the type of player that he wants. The scouts may recommend, but he would say, no, I want a different profile of player. Next manager comes, a different profile of player. It's what has culminated in what we have in defense.
Yes.
I've seen the different, totally different profiles of our defenders.
Unbalanced squad.
It's crazy.
Very unbalanced. Okay, so let's quickly switch to Tyrell Malacia. A lot has been happening with Tyrell Malacia. As you know, we've not seen Tyrell Malacia all season. We've not seen him kick a ball for Manchester United. Now, by the kind courtesy of The Athletic, they put together this very, very interesting article, and I'm projecting a summary of the article they put together with regards to what Tyrell Malacia has gone through. So what's the summary? Now, early in 2023, Malacia feels a knee pain but delays reporting it to Man United. Now, July 15, 2023, the knee discomfort leads to a surgery which led to him missing the preseason. Now, the surgery decision. So United, the player chooses a Dutch surgeon over a London one that had been agreed by Manchester United. Now, the club later on agreed or allowed the player to go use the Dutch surgeon as perhaps he's familiar with. It's one thing that we'll probably talk about. So the first botch season conducted in the Netherlands independently. In November 2023, an additional surgery was needed due to a cartilage fragment discomfort after a CT scan overseen by United. So this was overseen by Man United. If you don't know, Kwame Nchubu is a doctor, so he will be in a better position to explain to us what is a cartilage fragment. I have no idea what that is. And all of that. So that is that. So that was overseen by Man United. So the current recovery, so he's currently working with a specialist traveling between Manchester, Barcelona, and the Netherlands. He's expected to be fully recovered by the time the season ends, so no long-term issues are anticipated. Now, what's been the reasons for the delay? It has to do with the complexity of the knee injury cited amid gossip and speculation. So this is just a timeline of how things have happened with Tyrell Malacia. I mean, what is a cartilage something fragment?
It's just a structure in the knee. The knee is a very complex area, especially for sportsmen. You could be dealing with anything. Of everything you've read, one thing that was never stated was actually the diagnosis of the knee injury that he has. Was it a ligament problem? Was it a cartilage problem? Was it a bone problem? It's not necessarily been stated over there.
I heard something. Some meniscus, something.
Meniscus, yes.
Meniscus.
You see, the knee joints very similar to the elbow joints, the shoulder joints. It's more like a ball and socket kind of thing where flexing and then, those kind of things, kind of movements happen over there. Very, very delicate structures for sportsmen in terms of their movements and all. All we can say is that the conclusion from this is our medical department is sort of suspect in terms of how they manage situations at a football club. It's clear. I do not want to use the word incompetence, but then it doesn't look good. I think we've seen a review of the structure over there over the course of time. The doctor from Arsenal who walked through the door to try and streamline things. I'm sure he's walked into a minefield. He's probably wondering what has been going on here over the past few years. It's chaos. It's been chaos. And he actually took office after Malacia's surgery had taken place. So we can't attribute the decision of the club to say you can go to your Dutch surgeon to the new Arsenal manager in charge of our medical department. Yeah. So let's just get that clear. Yeah. He came after these decisions had already been taken.
Yes.
But whoever made those decisions in the first place,
they didn't help the situation.
Good riddance to him. It's left the boy in a precarious situation, clearly, where it looks like that he's had a botched surgery, had to go back and have fragments taken out of the knee that are not supposed to be there. And this time around, we are taking our time with his recovery to make sure he's 100%. It brings to light why we are looking for a left back. Yeah. It looks like the club does not want to take chances with respect to his recovery process, because to have a double knee surgery in a short space of time, you may not recover as you should. Maybe youth is on his side, so he may recover properly. But then for any other player into his mid-20s, getting to his late 30s, you're talking about a very poor prognosis in terms of recovery. So let's just hope for the best. But then these things should not be happening anymore at the football club. I'm just glad that he's not dead. He's alive. He's well. He's not. He doesn't have mental issues like people are talking about. He's just had a poorly managed medical or surgical problem, and which has had complications and needs time for it to heal. So we wish him the best of luck. We will not go deep into anatomy now. We just wish him the best of luck in his business.
All right, okay. Let's quickly switch to Bournemouth. They beat us 3-0 at Old Trafford. They've been in good form. I anticipate, as usual, as we've discussed, the basketball game. But are we coming out of the basketball game with 3 points?
Good question. I'm looking at the rest of the fixtures for this month, and I'm slightly more confident about us getting results in these fixtures compared to the first 3 fixtures of the month. Brentford, Chelsea, Liverpool was a baptism of fire that we did not come out of it properly. We could easily have had 9 points. We ended up with 2. But then I think the next few fixtures are a bit more kind, starting with Brentford, who, let's not get it wrong, it's not like they're a bad side. They beat us 3-0 this season.
Yes.
Let's just go there and try and have revenge. I think we can win. But then what's the win going to do for us in the long term? I just think that the chances of top 5 are probably gone by now. But then we should build some momentum heading up to the FA Cup semi-final, and then potentially the FA Cup final, end the season on a high. So yeah, fingers crossed we come out victorious at Bournemouth this weekend. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right. Thank you very much, Kwame. We don't have much time on our side to complete or do a very detailed analysis of it. But we'll be bringing you United today, subsequently going into the game, and then also right after the game, we'll be here to give you the analysis of everything that happens in the game. Remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. But please, the subscribe button, very, very, very important. Pause
very, very important.
And then hit the subscribe button, and then hit and then like and share, and then your comments are also welcome here on United and Everything Football Podcast. We have great content for you here on this channel. So always remember to stick and stay with us. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Kwame, for being with us. Have a great time and enjoy yourselves.